Lost is on.
Welcome back to Bite Sized Media Thursday, guys. Like we have been doing. Oh, excuse me. Like we have been doing for so long, we're covering Lost because Lost is good, right?
We think.
Okay. Today we are covering episode 2 of season 2, which is my favorite season. And all I really remember about this episode is the end.
What's the name of the episode?
Adrift. Yeah. All I really remember about this episode is the end. What
is this episode about? Is it have to do with the raft?
It's the one that starts with Michael in the water. What?
And Sawyer gets shot.
Yeah, which is really weird because he falls into salt water, and that would not, like, I don't care how passed out you are, that would hurt.
And then Jin jumped after him.
Mm-hmm. And then where are the sharks that are generally around the island in other episodes?
Sharks only eat ugly people.
Because, well, Sawyer's bleeding, and Walt's moving around a lot.
Michael
is moving around a lot.
Walt got kidnapped.
Yeah. And then there's a fire burning behind them. And who knows where Jin is? But then all I remember is that they end up like on the rocks on the other side of the island, and Jin comes running out of the forest with his hands tied behind his back, said, Others, and then all we see is 4 figures.
Oh, that's the end of the episode? Okay.
I do remember that now.
Yeah, I'm starting to. They didn't get that far, did they? They ended up at the same island.
I maintain that raft would not have gotten that far to begin with. Like, there's a point in the season 1 finale where they show behind them and you can't see the island anymore. And it's like, they haven't been going for that long. Like, to properly not see an island of that size, you probably have to be like 20. I mean, it's pretty tall, right? You got that big mountain on it. So you probably have to be 20, 30 miles out to sea, I would guess. And there ain't no way that they do that in one day in that raft.
Yeah, for how heavy it is. Fight. I don't care if the wind's at your back. If you're fighting the waves, you're not going to move that fast. You're going to move, but not that fast. Yeah. Yeah, but I don't remember anything about this episode other than my question is, because it's been a while, if you were here last week, we had a funny tornado interruption. Did we see anything else in that first episode other than everything involving the hatch?
Yeah, we saw them. This might not be the episode with Walt, because that might have been, because I feel like they were blown up in the season finale, and they wouldn't have just let that sit without somewhat resolving it.
I don't think
they were in.
What I'm saying is not just that story, but everyone who's back at the camp too. Did we see anyone else in that first episode other than the ones at the hatch?
I feel like we would have had to. Again, it's been a month ago. I don't remember, but I feel like we would have had to, because Jack was not initially. He was though.
Yeah, he's looking down at.
Yeah.
I don't think we did. I think it's one of those we go right where we left off, and then we spend the whole episode there, and then the second episode is the one to keep people coming. It's like, wow, there's these 2 other sides to the story we haven't seen. Solve it. I'm looking. Yeah, it was a week later even, so I bet you that's what they did. It's this first week is what is the hatch, and then the next week we'll solve the other things, because that's how you keep people coming back week to week. Because if you solve everything at once in the first episode, you'll lose viewership faster.
Just like Smallville.
But they solve it all in
until you get to the later seasons, and then there's like they solve the story, and then they start the story for the season, and then you'll get like every third episode is related to that story or something like that.
Gotcha. But yeah, I don't remember anything else about this episode. I'm ready to watch it if we don't have any more thoughts.
Yeah.
Do you have any thoughts, Aaron?
Nope.
Good to have you as a member of the computer club.
Yeah.
I don't see a computer.
You see a crap book.
I see like this very awful looking like bookend. Where's the other bookend? What is it holding up? Can it hold up anything? That's kind of a useless bookend.
No. It's a V-shaped bookend. You put it on its edge and you just line the books up within the V. It's very useless. It can only hold like 2.
Gotcha.
Aaron's like, you son of a... Anyway, anybody got any other thoughts?
No.
All right, then let's get lost. Welcome back, everybody. We just watched Lost Season 2, Episode 2, Adrift. And, man, I got to tell you, there's one line that we heard more than any other line. And what was that, Jared?
Walt! Walt! Walt!
Yeah. There are so, like, watching this again and kind of detached from the story, there are so many things that, little stupid things that bug me about it. Like, I don't know. I don't like Michael. I also am really annoyed at the fact that they apparently thought they were significantly further away from the island than what they actually were. I know that it's pitch black and at nighttime, like, I don't know if any of you have ever been out in a boat on the water at nighttime, but it is more dark than on land, to be perfectly fair. But I just that island is so big. It's like I just don't know that you would not know that you're right there. Like I don't know.
But they were adrift for the whole episode.
They were adrift.
Sawyer dug a bullet out of his shoulder.
And he sounded wonderful while doing it.
He's good at making those yells and screams. Josh Holloway. Is it Harold? How do you say his last name?
Perrineau.
Yeah, he's not very good at yelling. At least whatever direction they're giving him for this episode, it's because I think I told you, like, the "my boy" line is not anything new and has been delivered by people throughout history. But just the way he's like, "My boy! Wow, my boy!" It's like, why is this funny? It's not supposed to be funny at all. Yeah, we get to that first flashback of him, and it's like, oh, and you said, is this a Michael episode? And I go, what? Yeah, it is. Yeah, Michael. Yeah, Walt is the more interesting of the two, but of course we can't have a flashback episode of him because he's gone. They kidnapped him.
Oh no, he's just appearing to. Oh no, Shannon in the forest.
Yeah,
that's right. So she actually did see him?
I don't know.
I can't remember. I forgot that even happened.
It's really unclear. I think she sees him in the way that Clea sees Jack's dad and her dad.
Oh yeah.
Their dad.
Yeah. We did discover that Desmond did in fact have a beard.
Yes, more closer to a 5 o'clock shadow, but like, because when you said he's clean shaven, I go, for some reason I thought he had a beard, but in my head it's like the grizzly lumberjack beard. But then when we saw him, I go, no, he's got a little bit of stubble.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I was noticing something in this episode. I enjoyed the episode and I like the season so far, but I'm getting a sense of how this might work and why I was annoyed all those years ago.
Mm-hmm.
We don't move forward that fast. we're doing a lot of backtracking in this episode, and that doesn't mean they're all like that. But as I'm getting this like weird feeling like, so we're retreading last episode because we have to get other perspectives, and we're setting up other stuff, and I think that's what most of the season could be, is the forward progression, where season 1 moves forward at a good pace while doing the back stories. I think this season, because we're sitting in one location and because it doesn't move as fast forward, I think that's what bugged me last time. And I like this, and I'm still, like, hooked. But I got that little feeling, I wonder if that's what was getting to me last time. We'll see how we progress. But
yeah, I mean, we're 2 episodes in, so...
Yeah.
I will say that this season is the season that has the tail episode, the other 48 days, and that might have bugged you because you're basically going back through the entire show at that point.
I don't mind that as much because it's a big amount of time covered and you're filling in gaps, whereas we're snail's pace and we're not jumping back too far. It's just, here's this perspective, and it's been done well in shows and TV, and not that this doesn't do it well, but when the first season is paced a certain way, and then you get to this one, it's very stagnant comparatively. And even that first episode, like, not that much happens in that first episode when you boil it down to, like, us summarizing it here. It's they open the hatch and they meet Desmond. That's really all that happens in the first episode. And then this one, they bring in the other perspectives again that we didn't see in the first episode. It's like, yeah, not a ton is happening because, again, they're sitting on their driftwood for most of that without not much is happening story-wise. It's all development stuff and then the flashbacks, and then of course we got Hatch stuff, which still we haven't moved that far.
I would really love to see a schematic of how that dome works underground, because there's no supports or anything.
Don't they, not to jump too far, don't they have a part of an episode where they show the hatch being built?
Yes. They have a part of an episode where one dude is building it with toothpicks, and then they go to the hatch site where the hole is being dug for it. In fact, that's where I think the finale for season 5 takes place. Yeah, because that's where they drop down the hydrogen bomb, and Juliet sets it off.
Yeah.
What does she say? It's really funny.
It's too far ahead. It's too far ahead.
I don't remember,
but yeah, I remember thinking while we were watching, like when you said that, and I go, I feel like I know what you're talking, and I feel like we see like the hole dug for it.
Yeah, but I wasn't even like talking about like how was it put there. I mean, that's what I was saying during the episode. But like, so this is supposedly immensely underground, right? Like there's a significant amount of dirt, but there's no supports for that dome. And I know that when you make glass curved like that, it's when it's the strongest. But if the level of dirt is on top of that building in the way that it's implied, I'm not sure that steel could hold that much without any sort of like support in that dome. It's just kind of there. Now, I am not a structural engineer like Michael.
I was going to say, you know who you can ask to answer all these questions.
Yeah, I mean, he did tell Sawyer that those vines were getting some tension on them, and they were going to break, and they were going to sink, and then they did.
And then he shot a shark with a 9mm?
Old faithful geyser of blood.
Yeah, and it wasn't a splash. It was like a...
So dumb.
Yeah, the hatch is an interesting thing, and it's a cool idea. I started at first. I was like, okay, I remember this. Yeah, and this one I'm like, yeah, I'm still in. I'm starting to get that feeling of I think I know why I felt this way, but there's plenty of season left, a whole lot left to go. That was just what I was feeling during this.
Yep.
Ow. Yeah, what else? And then, of course, the big thing at the end with Jin being tied up, yelling others like we mentioned in the opening.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. And I thought for some reason it was like a shot behind them or of their feet, like looking at them. No, it's like they're kind of in shadows walking towards you.
It's full on terrifying because they have all those weapons.
And it's quick. It's like a second.
Yeah.
And that's enough. Because imagine watching this live. You didn't, or you did watch live?
I don't think I did. I don't think I caught up until like the 5th or 6th episode
of the last season.
of the 2nd season.
Oh, so
and
we're
then
almost.
I started watching it with my parents.
Gotcha.
Or Drew or someone.
And then Aaron, we've mentioned it multiple times. It was season 6. You said you watched live.
5.
5. You watched live.
Yeah.
That's a weird season to start on.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I must have had just no idea what was happening whatsoever.
Pretty much.
Yeah. I'm just saying that just like TV at the time, they have to bring it back next week, and that being the last shot is a really good like what.
Yeah.
And then of course in the first 5 minutes next week they'll probably answer who they are, and just they'll be like, oh yep, that got you back, and then we'll do the rest of the episode.
No,
and at the end,
actually they don't.
They don't.
I remember it now because they grab them and then they throw them in the holes with the cages on top, and then they throw Anna Lucia in there, and she pretends to be one of them.
That's right. So we have a sitting episode. Who coined that? Someone online coined it, where it's like it's a sitting episode. It's not quite a bottle episode. It's like one or all of your episode. You're sitting in a certain location, and you cut to other places, but it's like these characters don't move because imprisoned or held there, and it's like great. Every time we cut back there. This episode was that too.
Well, I guess in this scenario, every time we cut back, they'd probably be trying to climb up a wall of dirt and failing.
Yeah.
Like Shadow in Homeward Bound. Poor Shadow.
Was that in the first one?
Yeah.
Okay. Was that in the original?
I don't think I've ever seen the original.
I haven't either.
I've
seen the remake once when I was a kid, and I don't think I ever saw the second one.
You probably got the heebie-jeebies from Chance getting smacked with the porcupine tail.
Little bit. I think the waterfalls what scared me.
No, so that taking out the porcupine needles scared me more than the waterfall did.
Because the waterfall, what's the cat's name? Is it Tabby? No, that's a type of cat. What is her name? Sassy. Yeah, Sassy goes over and they think she's dead, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I remember that. So that was Sally Field.
And then she gets picked up by...
That's Sally Field.
Yeah, by a Forest Service Ranger.
Yeah, and then Michael J. Fox is, what's his name?
Chance.
And then Shadow, is that Don Amici?
I could not tell you.
It's like Don Amici or Jack Palance, I ever say his name.
And then they launched that freaking cougar.
That's
off the side of a mountain.
That's right.
Which is funny because cats like that can take falls like that. I've seen it.
Yeah, they land on their feet.
No, not even just that. Like, have you seen the videos of snow leopards like attacking goats just on a cliffside, and they attack them and they both go because you can't stop the forward momentum, so they just both go boof, and they just plummet. And it's like, how is anything still alive on this planet? Oh my gosh.
They're tough. You know what else is tough? Sawyer not only digging that bullet out of his shoulder with his bare hands with all the salt water.
And then swimming to the
pontoon
in the salt water.
Yep.
And then getting shot in the other shoulder by Michael. Oh, I'm sorry. That's my own head canon.
Yeah, well, when we saw the Old Faithful, I said, yep, he shot Sawyer in the other shoulder. And he's like, Mike, you shot me in the shoulder, you nitwit. And he's like squirming to the pontoon. What did he say that was really funny? It was like, what, do you want me to stop bleeding? So, he's funny.
He is.
It's weird. Is this if I remember, Sawyer, early on we talked about he's a creep, but there's a certain change where all of a sudden it's like, no, he's kind of one of the best characters. Is it the raft where the change happens? Because it's like so far, like it's like, yeah, he really hasn't been in creep mode in a long time. The character has changed. Yeah.
Yeah. That's interesting.
Do you have something to add too? I thought I saw you kind of like.
Well, I was just thinking. You mentioned earlier, but I started with season 5, and I grew to like Sawyer quite a bit in season 5. That's where I knew him from, and then going back to season 1 was
Whiplash.
Yeah.
You're like, Is this the same
who is
guy?
This guy? What's happening? Yeah, but I was just trying to think of where that point is where he makes the switch, like you said. But yeah, the raft might be it.
Yeah, it's like, you ease into your character, you kind of get that character, the character's correct. It's any TV show of any type. It takes a little bit to get into that groove, and his is one. It's like, yeah, the creep antagonist or anti-hero is fine, but I think he works better when he's just kind of a bit of an ornery, grumpy, kind of pretty boy.
Yeah.
That's kind of what he is. He's got that edge to him, but if he is kind of more of a hero than an anti-hero, I think making him likable is the better choice. But we have a lot of show left where I don't remember everything that happens.
He doesn't get lucky. He does get lucky.
He does get lucky out in the jungle. In the rain.
Quite a bit. Not even just that either. He doesn't get likable until well into the show. Probably, I would say probably the last 2 seasons.
I find him likable at the moment because this whole episode, even it was like, yeah, he hasn't done anything wrong or said anything stupid. He's in pain and he's yelling at Michael for being ridiculous. So right now I like him. I like how he's yelling for Jin, and Michael gets all mad, like, why are you doing that? He's like, because Jin's out in the water somewhere, and that was like minutes after Michael had just been yelling for Walt, who's miles away on a boat or on the main, like, can't hear him, and he's all about, oh, my son will hear my voice, and no, I am going to get him. It's like, but you yell at Sawyer for yelling for Jin, who is in the water. Yeah, that's all I got to say. It's we're starting to get into the connector type things where we go back and we fill in the gaps.
It makes me wonder. I don't remember. Are we gonna, in this episode or another one soon, gonna go backwards and see Jin's perspective up till this point?
I don't think so.
No,
maybe in the next episode, but it wouldn't be very. It wouldn't be very much. I don't think. You'd probably see him like on a beach getting drug off by something.
We have a Sun and Jin featured episode for episode 5 of the season, so I don't think it will be that, but that's coming up. But we have a lock episode next week. So
okay, are we all good then? I'm good. I'm good on this. Plus, I have to.
Yeah. I'm good.
All right. So, what I'm going to ask all y'all to do is check us out on our other social medias, and Jared is going to tell you where.
You can follow us on Facebook, Instagram, the Funny TikTok, and Twitter. And also listen to us. Take that, Musk. We can also listen to us on Apple, Spotify, iHeartRadio, and if it's YouTube, like, subscribe, comment, ring our notification bell. Make sure you check us out and rate us on all those apps, and swing by our groovy website.
And with that, you can come on back next week for episode 3. What is the title, Jared?
Orientation. A lock episode.
And with that, let's get lost.